What's good, nerds? How y'all doing? How's everybody today? I hope everybody's well. It is I, your boy Jay. It is the Bishop of Bull Moose, back at it again. Thanks for clicking the button. Click all the buttons. It's that time of the week again. I am here because it is that time of the week again. It's time to tell y'all about the shit I watched last week. Why not, right? I don't just buy movies, I watch them as well. There's a few of us out there. I'm finding as I'm doing more of these, as I'm keeping this little journal of movies that I watched last week, I'm finding that I'm getting through about 5 movies a week. I don't quite do one a day on average, but 5 movies a week, which is not terrible, actually, because I also watched K-Pop Demon Hunters like 3 times last week, so that kind of cut into my movie watching a little bit. First movie I watched last week, it was last Sunday, but that doesn't matter, was Dark City. I got this here lovely 4K from Arrow. I believe this is out of print now, so sucks to be you nerds. If you didn't already get this, you can just wait for the standard edition like a poor person. It's been at least a decade, probably more like 2 since I've seen Dark City. Before upgrading to this lovely 4K, all I had was the Ivy Hill snapper case, you know, little snapper cases. Ivy Hill is the name of the company that made those cases that snap and then the paper like unfolds. That's all I had. I mean, it had been a long time since I'd seen the film, and I'm glad it finally came out on 4K. It looked fantastic on 4K. I was really impressed with how good it looked. I love that Arrow gave us 2 cuts on 4K. Way to go. Somebody gets it. Kino, take notes. What are you guys doing? I really enjoyed Dark City this time around. I mean, I liked it before, but I think I enjoyed it more this time around than I have previously. This is definitely a movie that gets better with time and repeated viewing, so I can't wait to rewatch this. I watched the director's cut. I'm chomping at the bit to watch the theatrical cut, so I'll pop that in so I can have like a little side-by-side comparison. My memory will still be fresh on the director's cut, because I was bone sober when I watched Dark City. You know it. I wasn't drinking this. Next, it was, you know, it's mid-August last week when I was watching these movies, so I had to do it. I had to pop it in. Little Darlings. I have the limited edition of this as well. This is another one that's sold out. This one was in print for a long time, though. They put this out in January of 2024, and it didn't sell out until like earlier this summer. I want to say like May, or it must have been May, because they weren't selling Vinegar Syndrome movies in June. So this thing, I think, sold out, I don't know, it was almost a year and a half after it came out. So if you slept on this limited edition, you have nobody but to blame but yourself, and that didn't make sense. This movie is a classic. It feels almost restrained by today's sensibilities. The week before last week, I had watched 40-Year-Old Virgin and Billy Madison and a couple of other films, and it's like more recent comedies seem a little bit more crude by comparison. They're very funny, but Little Darlings feels restrained compared to something like Wet Hot American Summer, to compare it to another kind of more recent summer camp comedy film that is a little bit more raucous and profane. So there's no real bad language in Little Darlings. Nobody has sex with a pie. Mooj doesn't make up crude epithets for sexual maneuvers. But it's still nonetheless very fun. It's a movie that's hard to watch without a smile on your face for scenes like the food fight scene and the condom scene. I recorded a appreciation and analysis video that I put out recently, so go check that out if you want to hear me yap more about Little Darlings. But it's a great film. It's one that I watch every August when I'm feeling that nostalgia hit, that like summer camp brings it back because it reminds me of my younger years, and then like the end of summer vibe with everything kind of wrapping up at the end. It's now mid-August, so I was really feeling that nostalgia. It's one that I like to bust out this time of year. So you got to watch this movie fast. Watch Little Darlings fast. If you haven't watched it yet this year, you got to get on it real quick. You only have a couple of days left. Otherwise, you have to wait until June 2026 at the earliest. I don't make the rules, okay? I'm just here to tell you. Don't watch that shit in November. Next, last week, I watched Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore was released on Tuesday, 8/19, from Kino Lorber. So I went and picked it up. Said hey to my homeboys at Bull Moose, and I picked this bad boy up. And of course, I wanted to take it home, wanted to pop it in. I wanted to see what the 4K looked like. I wanted to look at the special feature. Not plural. They did not exactly hook it up on special features. Look at that shit. They got deleted scenes in the theatrical trailer, which are not really even that special. They've been around since the DVD days. Chances are, if you're anything like me, you've owned those two special features since 2001 or something, when you got this on DVD. Kino did put a new audio commentary on there, so there you go. My main complaint about this is that the 4K was okay, middle of the road. I don't have bad things to say about the 4K. I'm not going to say anything bad about the 4K transfer. It was okay. It wasn't overly impressive. It was kind of middle of the road. No big complaints, but I'm not impressed necessarily either. And with them only including one special feature, this little rinky-dink slipcover, you know the Kino slipcovers. This is thinner than dick skin, guys. This is a thin slipcover. There's no slipcase. There's no booklet with writings on the film. Even Criterion will give you like a 10-page booklet. These days, that Criterion booklet doesn't feel that special compared to the, the stuff that you get in, you get a whole media book that's got like 30 pages here in Little Darlings, right? You get some writing on Little Darlings. Dark City 4K also came with like a 100-page book. This, you don't get squat. You don't get a one-page booklet with Happy Gilmore on 4K. And yet, Kino charges $35 for this. You either pony up the $35, or you get it the first week. I got this on sale for $30. So let's compare apples to apples. I only paid $30 for this because I got it first week. It was discounted $5, but even $30 feels a little steep for something that really doesn't have a lot of value add. If you think about the DVD of Happy Gilmore, which I own, I haven't sold it yet, but I still own the DVD. What I'm getting by paying $30 for this Kino 4K is I'm getting a 4K format upgrade. So I'm getting it upgraded from DVD to 4K. That undoubtedly looks better in my TV, although I did not do a side-by-side comparison of the DVD to 4K. But undoubtedly, I trust that this 4K does look better. It's a higher resolution on a UHD TV. It's going to look better. However, that and a flimsy slipcover and one single additional special feature of a new audio commentary is all you get for $30. I don't know. This should be $22, in my opinion. That's all. Wait till, unless you must have this slipcover like me. Like if you have a severe psychological problem like I do, and you have to get the slipcover, then you're going to pay $30. I paid $30 for a slipcover. Let's put it that way. I paid $30 so I could have the slipcover, because if I had been smart, I would have waited for this to go on sale at Barnes & Noble for 50% off, and I would have just got it for $25 or $20, which is what it should cost. However, I needed this slipcover. So instead of paying $20 or $25 for that, I paid $30. I paid the difference. I paid $5 for a slipcover. And honestly, I'm sick in the head. I'll pay $5 for a slipcover any day of the week. Even slipcovers I already have, because I'm sick in the head. So, I still love Happy Gilmore. I still love that movie. It brings me back to my early teenage years when I was watching that movie in the theater, sneaking into that movie in the theaters. I mean, I love that movie so much that I'm actually drinking straight whiskey from a Happy Gilmore cup that I actually had to go to Subway. I actually had to eat Subway. Subway sucks, and I had to eat a sub in order to get this cup. But I got it because I'm a fan of Happy Gilmore, see? That's how I'm drinking my whiskey tonight. Normally I have beer, but I got to drink whiskey out of the Happy Gilmore cup because I'm talking about Happy Gilmore. Next up this week, I watched Ghostbusters. The first one, not the second one. This is, of course, the 4K Steelbook that contains both. I was just touching the whiskey, and so I got a little water on the outside of that. Sorry about that. Ghostbusters 1, not 2. I just watched part 1. Part 2 is set over the holidays. There's way too much Christmas vibes in part 2. Despite part 2 having been released in the summertime, I think part 2 was released in June or July. It's still full of Christmas vibes, so I refuse to watch it until early December. I'll show it to my kids then. But, sometimes your kids make you proud, right? This is one of those times. My kids have now watched Ghostbusters, the first one, 3 times. They've seen Ghostbusters. And they don't even know that there's an all-female Ghostbusters movie. They don't know that movie exists, and they won't until they move out at least. They ain't never going to know about that movie if it's up to me. My kids like the ghosts, like Slimer. They really like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. My youngest daughter, who's 3, is like, when's the Marshmallow Man? Where's the Marshmallow Man? And then when he shows up at the end, she's very gleeful. So that's a very enjoyable experience for me to enjoy my kids enjoying Ghostbusters like that film that is a classic. And it gives me some hope that maybe this is a good sign. They'll like other classic films of the 80s and 90s. I'll be able to show them other stuff that came out during like my formative years, stuff that I watched as a kid. To me, it's like this is a nice gateway film. Maybe throw in some Back to the Future at some point in a year or two when they can kind of get the social stuff that's going on in that movie. And finally, I watched The Seventh Victim last week. I said I was going to wait till Halloween to watch this Val Lewton double feature, but my wife wanted to watch a movie the other night. She said she felt like horror, much as I do. She has a kind of literary taste in movies. She enjoys films from yesteryear. So what I did is I presented her with a list of options. I gave her 4 films that I curated. I laid them out and I said, which of these films is striking you right now? Which seems the most appealing to you in this moment? And she chose The Seventh Victim. So ever the gentleman, I honored her choice. We watched The Seventh Victim, even though it is not yet spooky season, and I am not observing any Halloween festivities or viewings of any films yet. Nonetheless, I did watch The Seventh Victim with my wife, which was the one of the films out of this 2-pack that I had not seen before. And I think that appealed to her too. She had never seen it, and she's watching a film with me for the first time. She's like, great. Maybe he'll shut up about the damn movie and just let me watch it because he's never seen it before, so he'll keep his mouth shut. I think that's her strategy, and it paid off for her in this case. Now, I think The Seventh Victim is actually a really nice-looking film. I really enjoyed the photography, probably about as much as I enjoyed Dark City. Of the films I watched this week, I mean, Little Darlings looks great as well. But I really, I mean, I expected Little Darlings to look really good. I had seen Little Darlings on 4K before, because I bought it last year. I had not watched the 4K of Dark City yet. I had only ever seen it on DVD for home media, and the same thing with Seventh Victim I had never seen before. So while Little Darlings looks very good, I think Dark City and The Seventh Victim were more revelatory for me because I hadn't seen them before. So they were the more like, wow, like this is really, really good. I'm super impressed. Whereas Little Darlings, I went in expecting very nice 4K transfers. So it wasn't like as mind-blowing as it was for me a year ago watching Little Darlings on 4K for the first time. So at any rate, the photography in The Seventh Victim is actually the best part of the film, in my opinion. Even though it's in black and white, there's this great range from like very pure whites, you know, the things that you expect to be very white, you know, like a dinner plate, you'd expect that to be white. A shirt, you would expect the shirt to be white. The things in black and white, the shadows, you expect this like depth of black, and they really achieve that good like range in the shades from black to white without it looking overexposed. They really had some very nice whites in there, very like high key lighting, very noirish sensibility to their use of shadows and that high key lighting, and that's no doubt a product of its time. This is a film from 1943. But they never made the thing look overexposed. It always looked properly exposed. The shadows looked great. Probably the elements to this thing were in pretty good shape. But Criterion did a good job putting this out because I got to say it looked really, really good. Now the storyline of The Seventh Victim was a little bit more of a miss for me. There's a lot of loose ends. There's not really much of an arc for any of the characters. It's just kind of the central character of Jacqueline feels like she was influenced by the early Addams Family comics of the 1930s, maybe. She's raven-haired. She's dressed in black constantly throughout the whole film. She just wears black head to toe. She's very morose. She states that she always wanted to die and just no sense of humor to her. I don't think she cracks a smile at all in the film. There's also this group of devil worshippers, but they don't quite achieve the level of cool of like a satanic cult. It's not like some Bohemian Grove type of satanic cult. It's just like a small group of devil worshippers that all look like librarians, and they all kind of suck. Apparently there were a handful of important scenes that were cut from this film before its initial release. They might not exist anymore because it's been like 80 years, but as it stands, I think the narrative is like, it's a little dream logic-y, which is nice. I like movies that have that sort of dream logic, but I really felt like it could have been a stronger storyline. But it's a great film to look at. It's a really beautiful film to look at. For the photography alone, it's great. Also, I almost forgot I watched K-Pop Demon Hunters at least twice this week, but I keep telling myself this too shall pass. Once the kiddos tire of it, it will join the pile with Moana and Frozen 2 and Garfield the movie and just all of the films that have come and gone and briefly were a near constant obsession and have driven me to drink. So whew, there's kind of a lot of that left, but I'm going to polish this off for the patrons. This is for you guys. Thank you guys very much for being here. Thanks for being patrons. Stay black. I'm out. No, I don't got it. I don't got it tonight. Oh, I'm sorry I let you down.